But beyond stories, speculation, and whispered rumors, one claim continues to disturb historians and believers alike. It is said that the remains of Noah's wife were discovered, and that she was not an ordinary woman. According to testimonies passed quietly among researchers, her stone sarcophagus measured nearly 18 feet in length. Allegedly, it was removed without public announcement and placed into restricted storage within the Anatolia Museum in Ankara, far from the eyes of the modern world. If true, this single detail alone would challenge everything humanity believes about its ancient past. High above the noise of civilization, where clouds drift low and silence feels heavy, there stands a mountain that has unsettled explorers, theologians, and scientists for centuries. Mount Ararat is not merely stone and ice. It is memory. It is warning. It is testimony. For thousands of years, people believed this mountain concealed something the world was never meant to forget. Long before satellites, before radar, before carbon dating, shepherds, monks, and travelers spoke of a massive vessel frozen in stone. Many dismissed these accounts as legend. Others quietly feared they might be true. Among those who believed was a man named Ron Wyatt, a name now inseparable from some of the most controversial claims in biblical archaeology. In the final years of his life, Wyatt reportedly suggested that his most unsettling discovery was not something meant to be celebrated publicly. According to those close to him, he believed that what was preserved within the remains of Noah's Ark carried a message powerful enough to shake modern civilization, not because it contradicted the Bible, but because it confirmed it in ways humanity was not prepared to face. The Bible describes the world before the flood in unsettling terms. Genesis does not portray a peaceful, ancient society. It describes a civilization filled with corruption, violence, and rebellion against God. Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight, and the earth was filled with violence. This was not merely moral decay. The language suggests something deeper, systemic, irreversible corruption. Humanity had crossed a line. In that generation, Noah stood almost entirely alone. He was not chosen because of influence or power, but because he remained faithful when nearly everyone else turned away. God commanded him to build something that made no sense to the people around him. A massive vessel on dry land, long before rain was even known. The ark was not described poetically. Scripture gives precise dimensions, materials, and internal design. Multiple decks, storage chambers, living quarters, ventilation. This was not myth, this was engineering. And then came the flood. The waters erased civilizations, memories, and bloodlines. Mountains were reshaped, landscapes rewritten. When the waters receded, the Bible speaks of covenant and renewal, but becomes strangely silent about the ark itself. No explanation of its destruction, no mention of its burial, no record of its removal. The silence left humanity with a question that refused to die. If the ark existed, where did it go? The discovery from the sky. In the 20th century, that ancient question resurfaced unexpectedly. During an aerial reconnaissance mission over eastern Turkey, a pilot noticed something embedded in the mountainside. From the air, it was unmistakable. A massive, symmetrical formation with the unmistakable outline of a ship's hull. Its length measured approximately 538 feet, matching the biblical dimensions of Noah's Ark when ancient cubits are converted. The formation lay near Mount Ararat, in a region known today as the Durupanar site. Local villagers were already familiar with it, but they avoided the area. Stories had been passed down for generations. Animals reportedly behaved strangely nearby. The soil felt unnatural. The atmosphere felt heavy. Scientists dismissed it as a natural geological formation. Ron Wyatt did not. When Wyatt first stood before the formation, he did not see random rock. He saw order, proportions too precise, curvature too deliberate. He returned repeatedly, documenting, measuring, and, by his own account, praying. Then something unexpected happened. An earthquake struck the region. When Wyatt returned, the mountain had changed. Cracks had formed along the length of the structure, splitting open hardened volcanic material. Beneath the surface were long, evenly spaced formations, parallel ribs following the exact curvature of the hull-like shape. This was not chaotic erosion. It looked intentional. Mount Ararat lies in a volcanic region. Extreme heat and pressure can rapidly fossilize organic material. Wyatt believed that shortly after the flood, volcanic activity sealed the Ark in place, turning wood, bone, and biological matter into stone-like remains. Samples collected from the site showed properties consistent with petrified wood. Nearby deposits resembled fossilized animal waste, yet did not match the waste of any animals native to that region. Wyatt believed this pointed to animals brought temporarily from distant lands, housed together and later released, exactly as described in Genesis. Excavation was prohibited. The Turkish government restricted digging at the site. With no permission to excavate, Wyatt turned to ground-penetrating radar. What the scans revealed disturbed him deeply. Beneath the surface were internal voids, long corridors, room-like chambers, evenly spaced vertical supports. Reinforced sections appeared designed to bear extraordinary weight. The internal volume suggested a structure capable of holding far more than survival supplies alone. Wyatt reportedly told close associates that the Ark may have preserved physical evidence of the world before the flood, a world God chose to erase. And then came the most controversial claim of all. According to accounts passed quietly among researchers, a massive stone sarcophagus, nearly 18 feet long, was discovered and linked to Noah's family. Some believed it belonged to Noah's wife. The implication was staggering. Such a size would suggest humans far larger than modern averages, aligning with Genesis 6:4. There were giants on the earth in those days. This verse has long been debated, often ignored, rarely explained, yet here was a physical claim that seemed to align with it. The sarcophagus was allegedly removed quietly and placed into restricted storage at the Anatolia Museum in Ankara. No public documentation, no photographs, only testimony. If even partially true, such a discovery would challenge modern anthropology, human evolution models, and the accepted understanding of ancient physiology. Ron Wyatt reportedly believed the Ark was never meant to remain hidden forever, but also that humanity was not yet ready. He believed the Ark was not merely evidence of judgment, but of mercy. God did not erase humanity without offering salvation. The Ark was a warning and a way out. Jesus himself referenced it. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. Wyatt took much of what he believed to be true to his grave. Whether due to warnings, ridicule, or the sheer weight of the discovery, much remained unspoken. Today, Mount Ararat remains restricted. Excavation is forbidden. Radar data remains disputed. The formation still lies beneath stone and ice. Yet the question refuses to disappear. What if the Ark is still there? Not as proof of a story, but as a reminder of accountability. What if the most terrifying thing Ron Wyatt ever discovered was not what lay inside the Ark, but what its existence says about humanity's present path? The mountain stands silent, but silence does not mean absence, and history, no matter how deeply buried, always finds a way to surface.